Now to discuss the lead attorney in that suit against the CDC, Rob Henneke. Rob, welcome to National Report here. Tell our viewers what your lawsuit alleges.
Well, Emma, thank you for having me. Our lawsuit, where I represent Congresswoman Beth Van Duyne from Texas, alleges that the Biden administration's transportation mask mandate that you have to wear a face covering on the airplanes is unconstitutional and it's unlawful. The Center for Disease Control does not have the statutory authority to make all Americans wear a face mask when traveling. And it's unconstitutional because Congress has never given this authority to the executive branch to impose. So we're suing to have it struck down and to be declared unlawful.
Well, as more and more states continue to lift their mask mandates, a lot of travelers are wondering, why am I still forced to wear this mask, especially if you're traveling with young kids? Can you imagine having to keep that face mask on as they're making their way through the airport here? The fact that these states have lifted some of their restrictions, does that give you hope that perhaps after March 18th, this rule will also be done?
Well, it seemed to be a trend with the great unmasking that's going on, with the states and schools reversing their policies, with the signaling from the State of the Union. This seemed to be the direction. But this administration has doggedly kept its stranglehold on the mask mandate for transportation. The administration will not commit to lifting this mandate when it expires on March 18th. Every signal is that they intend to extend it. And the CDC has continued to say that they think that this requirement for transportation should remain in perpetuity. So because it's clear that this is not likely to go away anytime soon, we've gone to the courts for relief, because what's happening is unlawful to be imposed on American citizens.
Wow. So you don't think it will be lifted once they reevaluate?
I don't. The track record of this administration with its various COVID mandates, going back to the residential eviction moratorium and several since then, has just been the insistence of the bureaucracy to keep these mandates in place when they have absolute authority and control over the Americans that are subject to the regulations. So here, where you have a captive audience on airplanes and on airports and trains and other transportation, the government seems to be insistent that they want to keep this in effect, maybe permanently. And we're going to stop that with our lawsuit.
Talk to me about maybe some of the people who you unknowingly represent in this suit. Again, those travelers who've been forced to mask up their children as they're moving around. But then also, have you heard from airport staff or flight attendants or pilots who felt as though they're the ones who now have to enforce this federal ruling?
It's been incredibly unfair for the flight crews, the stewardesses that work on the airlines for the past year, that they have been forced to be the enforcers of the federal government for this requirement that, let's admit it, it's today silly to continue to impose this. And I flew yesterday. I watched as a mother nearby struggled to keep her young child, maybe 2 or 3 years old, to keep the mask on so they wouldn't get in trouble. And I asked the flight attendant as I was leaving, hey, are you ready for this to be over? And she said, absolutely. We are so tired of this. It needs to go away.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when you get to take the mask down to eat the cookies that are passed out. It hasn't made sense this entire time. Rob Henneke, thanks for coming on. Keep us updated on the lawsuit. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you.